morning and welcome. As we look ahead to the PRCA APAC Conference on the 4th of March, today is really about starting a conversation around some of the key topics shaping our industry right now, and giving you a flavour of what we'll be exploring at the conference. I'm Tara Munis, head of PRCA APAC, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Melissa Sim, director at We Corporate Advisors, to talk about what it really means to be human in communications right now. Over to you, Melissa.
Thank you, Tara, and thank you for having me here today. I'm Melissa, and I lead the team at We Corporate Advisors, part of the global We Communications Network. At our core, we advise on corporate reputation and positioning and stakeholder management. Our clients value our no-frills, straight-talking approach, focusing on clarity, substance, and practical counsel that help leadership teams make confident decisions. And that's how we build relationships, rooted in trust and candor.
Thank you for that, Melissa. Right, let's dive into the questions. So the theme of this year's conference is the year of being human. When you look at what's changing in communications, why does this theme feel so timely?
It's because trust is being decided faster than ever, mostly without us being even in the room. So technology, especially AI, is accelerating how people form opinions, as revealed in our latest Future of Communications report. But what actually cuts through hasn't changed. People still want credible proof, presented in language that doesn't make them work too hard. So being human is how brands stay believable and trusted when everything else in the world is speeding up.
Yeah, so essentially being human is what keeps brands trusted in a fast-moving world.
Exactly, that's right.
Next question. When it comes to the future of B2B communications, what's the biggest shift leaders should have in mind for 2026?
So the biggest shift is that shortlists now form even before sales begin. Buyers are doing their homework privately, for example, using AI search to get an instant answer. And they're arriving with a point of view that's already been formed. That changes the job of communicators such as ourselves. It's no longer just about launching messages. It's about showing up early, consistently, and in places where decisions are already quietly taking shape.
Completely agree. Decisions are happening before sales even starts, so showing up early is critical.
That's correct.
That sounds like a major change in how influence works as well. Where are leaders missing the point right now?
So many leaders still think influence starts with a headline. Our Future of Communications report reveals that trust is being built through a constellation of influence, such as media coverage, analyst views, niche outlets, investor and community conversations, employee voices, and other third-party validation. The challenge is not really about visibility, but more coherence. Reputation has become distributed, and managing that requires a different kind of discipline.
So influence isn't just about visibility, it's about consistent, credible reputation across multiple channels as well.
Yeah.
Now let's address the elephant in the room, AI. In your report, you argue that AI search is reinventing the deal funnel. What does this mean in practice?
So AI has quietly become everybody's first touch point, including myself. In other words, it's often the salesperson that a prospect encounters. So when you ask AI to compare vendors or explain trade-offs, their answer starts to shape your perception before any human interaction begins. And if that summary is inaccurate or incomplete, you end up with a reputational issue. That's what we mean by shortlist before sales. Communications must earn its place in the AI response layer to ensure companies and brands are represented clearly and accurately. And that's the power of communicators.
Next question. For many comms teams, that can feel a bit abstract. What does a practical starting point look like?
So start with the questions that people are already asking, not the messages that you want to see. Identify the prompts tied to trust and comparison, and then test them across the tools that your audience is already using. So look at what shows up, what gets repeated, and more importantly, what's missing. You'll very quickly learn or see where your authority is strong and where needs a little bit more work. So strengthen own content so it reads like a reference, and strengthen earned coverage so credible sources all say the same core truths.
You said read like a reference. What do you mean by that?
So a reference is content that people and machines can rely on. It's clear, structured, and easy to verify. That's why we are seeing a return of brand publishing like explainers, FAQs, executive point of views, and even more. When content is written like a reference, it doesn't just perform better, it builds credibility at scale. So AI tools rely heavily on non-paid sources that feel authoritative and repeatable. That is a communications opportunity, and it rewards the work that PR teams have always done well when they do it with intention.
Yeah. Content that acts as a reliable reference builds credibility with both people and AI. Couldn't agree more. Next question. Measurement often lags behind change. What new metrics do you think leaders should be thinking about now?
So in an AI-mediated world, clicks don't tell you the full story anymore. Traditional metrics like share of voice, sentiment analysis, impressions and reach, and key message inclusion all still matter. But leaders should now pay closer attention to how company is being represented in these new AI summarized responses.
Traditional metrics still matter then, but now it's also about how your company shows up in AI summaries.
Exactly.
Next question. If you could give communications leaders one directive for the year ahead, what would it be?
So we should all treat discovery as a reputation service, not a marketing layer or an afterthought. In an AI-mediated world, your story is often being formed earlier, faster, and sometimes without context. Brands that will win are the ones that publish clearly, consistently, confidently, and credibly, trusted by humans and machines alike.
So publish clearly, consistently, and credibly, so your story is trusted by humans and machines alike.
That's right.
Thank you very much, Melissa, and thank you for your time today. We hope to see a lot of you at the PRCA APAC Conference on the 4th of March in Singapore.
Thank you, Tara, and thank you for having me here, and see everyone there.